So, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed your lunch. Hope you enjoyed a little bit of the northern German sunshine. See, sun does shine here in northern Germany. Beautiful day in Kiel. I'm very pleased that so many of you are sticking around for these afternoon sessions because they're going to be, I think, extremely interesting, not least the first one that I'm about to introduce. This session is entitled Contaminated Waters, Addressing UXO and Environmental Hazards in Ukraine's Rivers and Coastal Zones. I don't really need to offer you context for this. Since Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine, a great deal of munitions has ended up in the waters, also on the land, obviously, but we're talking mainly about the waters, the coastal waters and the rivers of Ukraine. They need support in getting rid of it, and we can learn from the Ukrainians, particularly about their experience in dealing with this in real time. It's not just the technologies, but it's also the way this is approached. So we're going to be getting into that in our panel. I'll just quickly introduce our panelists. I should mention, first of all, that one, Mikhailo Rizak from Nibolon, cannot be here. Nibolon, you may not know the name, but it's a big Ukrainian agricultural company that has its own maritime fleet and its own shipyard. So they're very much involved in exporting critical grains, other foodstuffs from Ukraine, and you can imagine what they're up against right now. So obviously, for pressing concerns in Ukraine, Mikhailo could not join us, but that is not a problem because we still have three absolutely fascinating people coming up here. Start with Yevhenii. Zubarevskyi, Colonel Zubarevskyi, is the deputy head of the Mine Action Department at the Directorate of Mine Action, Civil Protection and Environmental Safety at Ukraine's Ministry of Defense. Great that you can be here. We had a very interesting discussion over dinner last night. Also with us, Ihor Fedirko is CEO of the Ukrainian Council of Defense Industry. I need to say no more. I think that speaks for itself. And also with us, Fabian Bannasch from EvoLogics. That's a Berlin-based company focusing on underwater communications and bionics. Great to have you all with us. Could I ask you to just hop one seat over? That would be great. Thank you. This works best for me. Thank you. Sorry. Great that you could all be here. And this is really special. I think it's an enhancement of this particular event that we could have input coming from Ukraine. It's really, really valuable because, well, again, for the reasons I've already mentioned, I don't need to go into that. So I know that at least one of you has a presentation for this, so I'm just going to let you make some brief opening comments or statements or presentations, whatever you happen to have brought with you. And I would suggest that we begin maybe with Yevhenii. Would you like to kick us off, Colonel?
Okay, thank you. Nice to be here. It's important for Ukraine, your support. Thank you for that. And I'm going to start general situation of Ukraine. So after full-scale aggression of Russia, 139,000 square kilometers were affected with explosive ordnance. This area includes 14,000 square kilometers of sea, rivers, lakes, and so on. Now we started provide clearance on areas that under control of Ukrainian government. We work in two ways. The one is rapid demining or anti-EOD spot task that provides by governmental units such as Armed Forces Ukraine, Navy, Special Transport Service of Ministry of Defense, State Emergency Service of Ukraine. These activities include fast searching of unexplosive ordnance, neutralization of it or destroyed, and provide to collect maximum of data about contamination. And the second phase of clearance is humanitarian demining that provides by mine action operators. It's organizations that were certified in Ukraine for demining. These mine action operators work according to national standards, international mine action standards, and guarantee quality of demining. Unfortunately, safety situation don't give permission to work on all areas. So for humanitarian demining, area in 20 kilometers zone from conflict line and state border are closed. Also for humanitarian demining procedures closed Black Sea, also because of safety situation. But our Navy provide in the Black Sea EOD spot task operations. They make a convoy of ships in a wheel corridor for export agriculture products. And now we start clearance procedures in Mykolaiv port. Now we're going to provide fast clearance with units of special transport service. And after this, we will continue humanitarian demining of this port, also using governmental mine action operators. Directly for today, we have just 5 mine action operators who are able to work for underwater demining. 3 of them is a governmental unit. So as you see, it's not enough resources for all clearance. That's why we try to use new technologies, new methodologies, and try to find the most effective way to cover with survey all aquatories in Ukraine. So it's very general, and if you will have questions, I will be glad to answer. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You know, we're talking about mine clearance and getting rid of old munitions here under peacetime conditions in Germany, at least in the coastal waters here, putting cyber attacks, hybrid warfare aside for the moment. But imagine trying to do this under wartime conditions. Very different ball game we're talking about here. Ihor.
So my name is Fedirko, and here I represent more than 270 Ukrainian defense industry companies, mostly work in domain of UAVs, UGVs, electronic warfare, and other manufacturing of weaponry. And also some of them, maybe 20 companies, produced the product for the demining sector. And also for underwater demining as well. And today I will speak more about about the international cooperation between Ukrainian demining sector and our partners from around the world. And also I will mention some specific measurements which give you maybe some understanding what happened inside our demining sector.
Fine, good. Fabian.
So, moin, privet. Before I start this, let me say how full of respect I am to be here on a panel with Ihor and Yevhenii. It is currently their teams and their people who are defending all of us in Europe. And a big, big thank you for everything you guys are doing. I think it goes together with a mindset shift. 2 years ago, we thought about, how can we teach and train Ukrainian forces? And now it's about what can we learn from Ukrainian forces and from the teams that are there in action. And it is probably, everybody here in this room is knowledgeable about mine clearance and so on. You guys are probably the most expert audience that we have in Europe for that. And still, it's an honor to be on stage with you guys. So there's a couple of quick video clips that I wanted to show if the guys in the background have it ready. I don't know. Wanted to give a brief overview of what we currently do together with your teams in Ukraine, specifically, except then talking about, the general landscape. Are we ready to bring that up? Otherwise,
I can see.
No, I get a no. That's no problem. So, for many of us, and we've talked all morning about how much tech we are able to deliver to Ukraine, who is working on the different systems. I see some of the slides building up, but we'll see where it goes. And for us, it's a technical playground is the wrong word because it's absolutely not a playground, but it's a technical trial area where we all jointly try to learn stuff the hard way. And that means we need to get different systems connected. We need to get data worked. We need to save people's lives. And a lot of the mission that we jointly have is to get these things in operation. And then start working together much more closely. We've got a responsibility to make all of the different equipment that all of us are delivering to Ukraine work together. We've also got a responsibility to make sure that we integrate our training, our operations, our concepts for different people, and that we jointly learn as fast as we can because this is our joint learning curve. Let me just give you a couple of quick examples now that the videos have built up. If you just push that forward, I don't have a clicker here. There's one. Good.
Sorry.
So we've got Sonobot in Ukraine currently, which is an unmanned surfaced vehicle. I think there's between 200, 250 units currently operating in Ukraine with that. We typically use Sonobot when we have a quick, rapid environmental assessment because you can put it on the water, it's live connected in your radio communication, you see live what's going on, and you at least get a very quick assessment of where are the interesting spots to send a diver to or where's empty sand. It comes with automatic object recognition, and the main stuff that we've worked on in the past is to get this training pipeline for AI data as a feedback loop closed with the units in Ukraine, so that tagged information, annotated data arrive back here in order to build our training models on how we build the artificial intelligence. We have started with Ukraine to take things underwater. This is Quadroin. Some of you know it from Germany as well. An AUV. Quadroin is different in a couple of ways. First of all, it's intelligent underwater. So there is automatic target recognition. There's automatic collision avoidance included. If it sees a mine, it changes its course and gets you a detailed picture of that mine, then continues the search, or directly comes up to the surface and gives a report. It is swarm capable, so multiple Quadroins talk to each other, which means that they can share different roles. 4 of them can scout and 2 of them can go behind, search or directly identify the candidates. And they are also memorizing stuff over time, so they can compare the picture that you had last Thursday with the mission from Tuesday last week, and then see whether there's do change detection and do and use that data from previous scans as well, where then partners like, for instance, North.io, who built a true ocean database and so on, are a key valuable asset for that. I think the first 50 are now in Ukraine, if I'm not mistaken. We're then also teaming this up in a man-machine teaming effort with Ukrainian divers. These here are German divers. That's one of them is my brother. So they use acoustic communication, and they've got this arm console which directly guides them to the targets and lets them confirm, disconfirm targets. It keeps the command center under control of where something is found. It also lets them interact with the vehicles. So you can call your quadrine to your location, attach something to it, send it back to the surface, all of that. So to be in a live network underwater, instead of going around for a dive, then putting your head up, trying to find out where the next spot is that you're supposed to go, and then diving down again. So this speeds up a lot of the process of dealing with mines, especially if you know that the water doesn't always look crystal clear, but this is the reality that most of the divers work in, and then it really starts to make sense to network man and machine here. We also use support vehicles for this. This is more with the Special Forces. These are here 2 guys from the Special Forces who dropped into the water. They carry out their mission. When they're done with their mission, they press an arm on their diver console, and they automatically get picked up again to be carried to the next location. An easy case of an autonomous autopilot, but it changes a lot once you're on the water and you have to find the next spot of your mission. You've seen Grey Shark out there on the parking lot, or many of you have seen it. It's a cooperation between our friends from EuroAtlas and EvoLogics. A great long naval driving capabilities with 10 knots of speed and 1,000 nautical miles in range, 8,000 if you go a bit slower. But then also a great sensor and autonomy package involved with that in trying to cover a large area and either loiter for targets or actively search for threats. Grey Shark is currently in the water, and it's driving around a few 100 kilometers from here, doing its mission. It will be on extensive mine searching missions in Portugal this September. And this just as a brief nutshell of what we're trying to do together. The key message from this that I want to bring across is, if you try to have this networked and equipment, you need to start to create concept around it. It's not just this one vehicle which we hand over and then say, here's the remote control and now you drive it, and that's our job is done. That's where our job starts. We need to make sure that together with these units, we work on our data networks, on our AI pipelines, on our training concepts, on our mission doctrines, on the interlinkage between these different networks. And that's what is our duty here as German industry to really make that happen. Sorry for the long speech.
Oh, not long at all. Thank you very much. Now we have lots of time, by the way, so no concerns about time. And we've got, I think we're going to have a lot of questions coming up. I'm going to kick things off by just putting a couple of questions to our Ukrainian friends regarding the kinds of dangers, the kinds of threats, risks that you're dealing with. Again, this is a very different environment than what we've been talking about so far at this conference, right? And we first have to really wrap our mind around that. There are missiles and drones coming incoming every day, day and night in your country. So this is a very, very different environment. So recognizing that, I'm going to ask you, it sounds kind of strange given what we've just been discussing, but when you look at risks of unexploded ordnance or mines particularly, you're dealing with active war situations. So talk to us a little bit about the risks that you're facing and trying to address the threats from those mines and from the unexploded UXO in the coastal waters and the rivers, inland waterways of Ukraine right now. Talk to us a little bit about those risks. What are the main risks you're facing?
So thank you for your questions. It's really every day we have missiles attack and drones attack. and every night this weapon crossed a very big river, Dnipro. Our air defense destroyed a lot of explosive ordnance fall down in the river, even cluster munitions. So we now started to work on policy level to create system of responsibilities of units that we have. Also, we started to create system of standardization of work that also include activities of environmental safety in case of war to make possible that we can. And now we started work with prioritization. So, as I said previously, the first prioritization for today it's ports and way for ships. You can imagine that in Mykolaiv port we still have ships that stayed there since 2022 and can't move from port because explosive ordnance contamination. So it's really hard work, but interesting, and it's work of not just Ministry of Defense. We cooperate with other authorities, we cooperate with business, we cooperate with administration of ports, and try to make a really nice instrument for prioritization and for planning of activities.
First of all, yeah, many thanks for EvoLogics and also for UMAC solution and for Germany in general. Thanks a lot, because I think that we received the first technical device with your technologies, with your experience for the underwater demining. We start gain our own experience in our lands. So it's really important. I think it's one of the best win-win strategy, and it's one of the best solution for us, for Ukrainians. We are really appreciate it. Thanks a lot. It's the first. I think that we are really good in the mining sector of the soil and lands, but we don't have this huge experience like you in underwater demining. And also, I was like the ex-CEO of state operators, of demining operators, and I command 96 deminers. And every day then I will wake up and I think that, thanks God, they're all safe and sound. And it's really important. And I really appreciate that our Minister of Defense and Minister of Economics and many other ministers which cover this really tough sector like the humanitarian demining starts to provide some, not some, but huge efforts to create this prioritization system, because for us it's really important. We should to know where exactly we should to demine. And as I mentioned before, just last 2 weeks, 2 people died because they disturbed the mine near the seaside, and it happens every month. And I just saw in my eyes, in my view, from my window, home window, look on the Dnipro, and I saw every day how our defense, air defense system shutting down the Shaheds, cruise missiles, ballistic missiles, and a lot of them fall into the river Dnipro. And it's also our prioritization. Really, we need to replace it. What we should to do? Yeah, maybe we should work more with the seaside or with our rivers. And you know, it's really really expensive things. So the underwater demining, it's really expensive, and we don't have this this money and this funding for do these really fast and quick and cost effective. Yeah, and I think that the main thing, it will be the prioritization. Everything else, like the technical support, like maybe some bureaucracy problem, we will fix it with your help also. But the prioritization, it's one of the main things. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Now, Fabian, I know that you're not in Ukraine yourself, but some of the things you produce, you send there, and you have to anticipate, how that could contribute to addressing some of the risks, threats that we're talking about right now. When you try to assess that, how you can best help, I mean, where does your technology fit in?
So, first of all, I don't think it's a decision on whether it's this piece of equipment or that piece of equipment. Yevhenii knows the numbers better than I do, but the numbers that I know is that since February 2022, something like 650,000 mines and unexploded objects have been disarmed, diffused by their teams. So if you think, or if we as Germans think Kolberger Heide is a challenge, we need to massively scale up on these operations, and these operations will not be over in the next months. They need to start at scale in these days right now, and probably for the next 10 years, 12 years, 15 years, we will have challenges with all of these objects. Just when Kakhovka Dam was bombarded and we had that flooding, I think some 10,000 mines were washed down the river stream. They're all still somewhere. Nobody knows where they really are. And you don't want to be the parent where your child is the one who finds it in a couple of years. So I think our first challenge when we want to make a difference is that we don't talk about, hey, can you try out these 3 robots, or can you try this new system and we will deliver 5 units next year. We need to get our heads around on how we run such an operation at scale, not with 5 units, but with 25 units and each of them 200 people. And how do we train them? How do we make that sure? How does that build up over time? And then, of course, we try to find the best technology. The best technology for such a situation is the one that is the most automated in a way that it supports the operator. It's a difference on whether you've got this one German sonar operator who's been doing it for the last 20 years and knows exactly how a Orkan mine or a Manta mine or an anti-landing mine looks on a sonar picture. But if you want to scale that up to 200 people who, they're all adepts in running drones, they're super great in learning any software that we provide, but we need to make this automatic, easy, and integrated process, and it just needs to run like a Swiss clockwork now, killing mine after mine after mine. So that's, I think, the challenge we're after.
This is an extremely difficult topic for a number of reasons. One of the challenges that I'm having is comprehending the scope of it. Right? It's a massive, massive challenge that is trying to be addressed under the most difficult circumstances imaginable. There has to be choices made about allocation of resources. What do we prioritize first, and how do we go about it with what resources, and how do we get them? So that would be just a question in my mind about how, under these circumstances, with what you're dealing with, how do you prioritize where to begin? How do you go about that? Maybe Yevhenii, because you work within the defense ministry that I suppose makes these decisions to a large degree.
Okay, so the first that we use in prioritization, it's safety for the miners, for EOD specialists. because Russian use FPV drones against demining teams. For example, 2 weeks ago, we have 2 incidents when Russian destroyed 2 machines for demining that works more than 20 kilometers from front line. So safety is the first. Second, it's understand why it's important. Or it's important for economic, or it's important for safety of civilian people, or maybe it's important for providing some infrastructure projects. And the third thing, it's cost of project. Because we can spend €1 million to complete clearance of some object, but we will not have money for other projects.
Exactly.
So that's why it's very important to understand these 3 things. And again, example of Mykolaiv port. Now it's a first priority for government. It's first priority for economy. And it's give possibility to use port for export of agricultural lands. So it's our way to in the prioritization. And again, we try to make process more optimized. We use digital system. For example, in Ukraine, we have one system. It's called Information Management System for Mine Action, IMSMA core. That Geneva Center for Humanitarian Demining gave for Ukraine. We use it. And also we try with Ministry of Economic to create system with AI that will help also prioritize. Hope it will be effective product, but we still work for it. It's really very hard.
Go ahead.
One of the problem is also IMSMA not accepted the redemine sectors. The Russians has usually used some cassettes and fragmental missiles, and they are like every day they trying to put the mine on the land which we just cleared before. And then we report about it to the IMSMA. IMSMA said it's impossible, but it's possible. And it's the huge problem for reporting. And also so for us also the one of the main problem is how we should to report about the clearances processes underwater. So what type of the report we should to send? Which people should to sign the reports and the papers, official papers, that this underwater place now safe? You know, it's also one of the hugest problem, and we should to create maybe some solution for that. And that's why it's the opportunity also for our international partners to join us to create these processes, because it's in Ukraine we are now, so we have really destroyed a lot of bureaucracy walls, a lot of them. But you know, it's responsibility. It's and this is a huge responsibility. Who should to sign these papers and give the assurance? You know, it's like, and I think it's a really nice question for all of us, and because it's not just about our port infrastructure. It's also about the food security. It's all about the economic also. You send to us some stuff, we send to you, and all of that happens through the port ecosystem. That's why I think I want to get your help and support in this topic also. Thank you.
Yeah, if your colleague Mikhailo could have been here today, I'm sure he would have been able to share some really important insights about the practicalities of trying to export grain under fire, basically, under these conditions. It's really hard to imagine. But I would like to open up the floor to questions. I can well imagine there may be quite a few questions in this room. So if you have a question, try to think about it, be precise about it. We have the microphone standing there, and I see we already have the first question. Yes, sir.
Hello. Yeah, I had the presentation this morning from UMAX Solutions. When we talk to the guys in Ukraine that we have contact with, we would like to get data back so we can improve our solutions, especially on the AI side, because the more validation we get from systems in Ukraine, the better we can make the software, the better they can be used in Ukraine. And Ukraine is the best place for doing these things at the moment because it's a live scenario. Is there any way, I know it's not an easy topic because you don't want to share where are the minefields and all those things. Is there any way where that collaboration somehow could be set up for between Ukrainian governmental entities and then commercial companies that are providing equipment to Ukraine?
Excellent question. Thank you very much. And it takes us straight into the heart of cooperation and bi-directional learning that's going on in terms of Ukraine plugging into the international community and support going in both ways, because there's a lot of learning going on in Ukraine that can feed back into the technology and innovation loop that can then be fed back into Ukraine to address the issues that we're discussing here today. Any thoughts on that, either of you?
So yeah, we just discussed it before, just maybe 30 minutes ago. And so first of all, we have more than 120 operators, the mining operators now in Ukraine, which certified. But just 5 of them have the permission to do these services underwater. And 3 of them, it's the state companies or state agencies. And I think that the main problem is maybe also the bureaucracy, the transfer of information, of IP, of another information. So it's really tough for our state companies. But just them have this experience. Just they. These last 2 private companies never touch underwater. It's really tough for them, and it's really expensive for them. And I was one of these 3 ex-CEO of this company, Ukroboron Service. And we also don't have this experience because the stuff for underwater demining is really, really expensive. And so at least we finally we have just the 2. This is not a companies, this is the agencies. Spatial Transport Agency and Special Emergency Agency.
And armed forces.
Huh?
And the sort for armed forces.
Yeah, armed forces, exactly. But it's, okay, armed forces. So, and for them to do this information transfer, it's sometimes impossible because they work in these frames of bureaucracy.
Even not just a bureaucracy, just in case of classified information. For today, a lot of information, unfortunately, is classified. Again, about companies that non-governmental. For today, we will start one task on the lake near Kiev to check how private company will work. They will survey and clear lake, and we also will test the system for private company. We'll see how they will work, but again, it's really expensive task. Expensive equipment, expensive personnel, and a long period of work.
Fabian, I know you wanted to remark on this as well.
Just a very brief one from experience. I think it works very well once you overcome two challenges. Because the people who are working are very willing to share, and they are very highly looking for collaborations and for exchange. The first challenge is there's one level of playing field, which is the governmental access of Sonderstab, Ukraine, and MOD, and so on. This is the guys who prioritize and decide on the support packages that, for instance, Germany and other countries then send to Ukraine. But then the equipment is handed over to the units, and your first challenge is to be in touch with the units who are working with the equipment, and not with the government official who decides on your package. And the second one is, once you are in touch with the units, probably they come for training together with the equipment, because you will be providing this, I hope. That means then 20, 25, 30 people, soldiers are standing in front of you, and you teach them how to use your equipment, how to operate the software, and so on. Then they go back to the front line, and that's the second challenge. And guess what? Then war happens, and they end up all over the place and have different jobs. Some of them, unfortunately, even get killed. Others end up in different roles, and so on. And then people start to use your equipment in the field, which are not the 25 people that you trained in the beginning. And now when you want to close your AI loop, it means that mission data needs to be recorded. Someone has to go through the data in a review. It has to be annotated in the correct way. It has to be uploaded as part of your training sample, and then run through a review process. So fairly complex data-driven process that we have to just get rolling with them. If now a random soldier from a random team now sits in front of your equipment, they will not be able to manage. So we need to facilitate these pipeline softwares and operational work packages, and do a lot of train-the-trainer concepts in order to have multipliers who work with the units and can tell, look, let me show you what you would need to do so that next time it runs better. I think a lot of that just gets lost in translation in the field, because someone has to deal with the equipment somewhere.
Thank you very much. I see someone has a question. We'll come to you in just a moment, but I've been informed that Ihor actually does have a presentation, I'm told, which we would love to see if you would like to share it with us.
Go fast through. Okay,
That'd be great.
if it's possible.
Yep. Yeah, go ahead. So let's see if we can get that up on the board.
I don't know what I can mention more.
You don't have to. This is not a requirement.
No, I think it will be really fast.
Okay, there we go.
So, I should start from who I am, but I did it before. And so over like 30,000 square kilometers of rivers, etc. in Ukraine are potentially contained with the explosive hazards. And this is the largest water-based UXO threat in the modern Europe. And we understand that these numbers are growing every day. So we are still under attack, and Russians sent to us a lot of Shaheds, drones, missiles, cruise missiles, ballistic missiles, and many other. And also they are destroyed our Kakhovka Dam, and this caused widespread water contamination with the UXO and toxins. And that's why many of our communities around this area now rely on humanitarian aid for drinking water. And we know that for this moment we count more than 8,000 oh my God, 8,000 ecological crimes. Approximately the cost for fixing all these damages will be like $80 billion, and 35 of them we should to spend for the clearances of our soil in our field. So it's a huge numbers, and all of these numbers, as I mentioned before, growing and growing. We really, as I mentioned before, we are really appreciate for all your support from which we received from European Union, such as Germany, France, Finland. So we start gain our own experience when we start to use your solutions and your experience, and we are really appreciate it. And I think that all of your companies, and we are really open for this. You can come to Ukraine. We, like the association, we can provide all the information about our market, about our operators, the mining operators, about our solutions, what you can do, what you can localize here. Maybe you can and you need and you want to create some joint ventures, joint products, or joint projects. So, and next one, it's that the way of our cooperation next steps. So we are really looking on the investments. So, our products such as Toloka, which you see before, I think, in the -1 stage, and the companies like that also looking for the international opportunities and international cooperation, investments, and maybe joint ventures. So we are really open for that. About the training centers, as you heard before, it's like one of our problem. It's a lack of people, of teached people. So we don't have enough of specialists, and we should to learn them, and it's take a long time. And that's why we should to scale the numbers of our training centers, and we have such projects, and we are looking for also for investment and cooperation. And our strategic partnership for research, development, deployment, and I really appreciate for the previous stage with our scientists. You find really simple words how to explain really difficult things. Thanks a lot. It was really amazing, and we are really open for this cooperation also. Let's get this information from Ukraine, because I think that you are in our underwater ground. You will find such a big warship like in Moscow, which we shooting down. I think it will be really interesting for you. We have a lot of things like Shaheds, which modernized maybe more than 10 times, so we can find all of them, maybe compare. And we have the mines, which replaced to the area which we think that it's now safe. So it's a dangerous area. A lot of things which we should to know. And we speak about this plastic mines. And it's impossible to find it through the simple technology like, I don't know, like some minor detector. So we should work more on specific term, like maybe like chemical analyze. I don't know, but I think, and I hope. And that's all. As I mentioned before, I represent here the companies from defense industry. We have really opened it for cooperation. if you need some information, some partners inside our country, maybe some, I don't know, scientists, our polytechnical institution, everything what you need to cooperate into for the joint ventures, for the joint products, you are welcome. You are really warmly welcome. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, Ihor. We could expand on that a lot, but I know there's a gentleman who was wanting to ask a question who is standing at the microphone. If I could invite you back to the microphone, if you still wish to ask your question. And then we'll get some follow-up on what we just heard. This could be, input, Ansporn, as you would say in German, for beginning to plug into that and share. Yes, sir.
Thanks very much, Hans Andersen, Aarhus University, Denmark, and the Munirisk project. My question was really about what you just explained, because we're working also right now on a remote preliminary impact assessment of the Black Sea and the coast around Ukraine. And so what we're looking for really is access to information about, more precisely about which type of munitions have entered the sea and where and when, so that we can start to make these assessments. When we start to calculate these impacts already, just knowing this type of information. So I was just wondering about, do you have that information? Is being recorded? Is there some way of accessing this so that we can include it? Thanks.
And by the way, we have lots of time. If anyone has questions, please feel free to approach the microphone. Yes, sir. Go ahead, Yevhenii.
So about information, as I said previously, a lot of information very, very sensitive. Now we work together with Navy to understand what kind of information we can make open and to show for our partners, to show for our operators. And I think very soon we will find decision, and it will be open to for the operators who work in Ukraine.
And I don't know how it sounds more diplomatically, but I think it's better for you to have like our country manager or your representatives inside the country. I understand that it's really a tough question, and it's but also we can provide for you like this service to find some people who can work inside our country and to work for your company. It's possible. It's better to communicate with MOD, with Minister of Strategical Industries, with the Minister of Economics, and many others. Everything what we have for this moment, it's our experience. And we understand clearly that it's maybe one thing that we can share with you, with our partners. And I think that's why it's really tough to share it with all of you. We should also prioritize and classify it. So that's why I think the best way for you is localize your small office in Ukraine, and we will help you. Thanks.
Fabian, can you say something from your experience in how you plugged into that? Because this is a question, if I understand it correctly, about how you plug into it, how you can go about it on a practical level, providing, getting involved.
No, unfortunately not. We're not plugged into it, and hard to get data on an environmental level for the Black Sea that is live recorded. I don't know. I'm sure that as soon as you have a project and you think you've got a couple of sensors that would make sense to have, there's ways to find around the bureaucracy, but can't help with the question.
Fine.
Yeah, my name is Edmund Mesa. I'm professor here at Kiel University, and we are specialists in analyzing TNT and other explosive stuff in waters. So I learned from your lecture that you are concerned about the contamination of explosives then in your waters, sweet waters or fresh waters and the sea, the Black Sea. So I have two offers for you. So first is you can send us samples, water samples or sediment samples, that we can analyze then and look if these samples are contaminated with some explosive stuff. And the second offer is if you have some people who want to be educated in terms of mass spectrometry, you can send them to my lab and we will educate them.
Thanks. Yeah, it's really helpful, and I think that's why we are here. And we are working in this domain with the Bern Institute, but for the soil. And this is something really new for us. Let's start. I think that we can work together. It's really interesting.
Yes, really, it's new for us, and really we have teams for testing soils. Even Ministry of Defense has a big unit for testing soils, and maybe the next steps will be also test water.
The water. Excellent. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Yeah, maybe I can add to this. So I mentioned earlier that Minesweeper has the idea to compile information and to make this available, but we are also there for consultation. So the same as what Eddie just said, we can do also with Minesweeper. And we have another project coming up. This Camera project was mentioned yesterday, where we have colleagues from Romania, and we are planning a workshop with Bulgaria, Romania, and Ukrainians. In Camera, we have also Ukrainian partners actually who are here. In January, we would like to have a workshop with these three Black Sea partners to discuss issues, how we can support detection, education, remediation, and all those kind of things in Romania, actually.
Yeah, thanks a lot. I think that you mentioned these countries because Bulgaria and Romania also faced on this problem. Sometimes these underwater mines are replaced suddenly, but it's our reality. And you know, like for Ukrainians to plan something for the next 6 months, it's something like you're a lucky guy, you know, you're a lucky guy. And but we do our best, and I think that we will be part of that. Thank you for this. Thank you that you are so welcoming us. Thanks a lot.
It's wonderful the way that this discussion is evolving, and also the way the input that we're getting from everyone in the room in terms of plugging into it. So we have the research community well represented here. We also have the corporate private sector represented here, people who are doing cutting edge research in a competitive environment and producing products and technologies that could be applied in addressing some of the issues that Ukraine is dealing with right now. We also have representatives of the German Navy here, I know, and we'll be hearing more from them in the coming panels that we'll be talking to. And I hope that the opportunities for networking that we're trying to provide here, we will have a coffee break coming up, and we may extend the coffee break a little bit to provide more of that. So please, to everyone in the room, just an invitation on behalf of our Ukrainian delegation to please feel free to approach them and maybe discuss this bilaterally. My job as moderator in this particular session is to try to explore the ways that learning can go in both directions, how Ukraine can benefit from other countries who are represented here today from whatever sector, and also how those sectors and countries can benefit from the experience and learning that's going on in Ukraine. So my question to the panel, to all three of you, and again, we still have more time for your questions, and we may cut this session a little bit short because there's only so much I think we can explore. But I want to ask, before we move on, what in your experience, and this applies to all three of you, even though you're coming at it from different perspectives, you from outside, you from inside Ukraine, when it comes to interacting Ukraine with outside countries and companies and research institutes, and your company integrating, cooperating with Ukraine, I'm just wondering how, there are different ways of doing that. What is proving most effective from your side, given the bureaucracy, given the classification of some of the sensitive topics that we're dealing with here? Does it go through governments? Does it go company to company? Are there brokers in between? How does that work best in your experience?
Actually, it's nice questions and very good that we three from different organizations. My opinion, like governmental, we have, as you know, we have coalitions. For example, the mining coalition, we have sea coalition, and on example of the mining coalition, they are open for private business to give equipment for Ukrainian units. It's the first way. Second way, we have in Ukraine legislation for material technical support. So any organization able to open a project to support a governmental unit. And the third way, to be mine action operator in Ukraine and provide activities as private company, but in the interest of Ukraine. So it's three ways that I recommend.
Thank you. Ihor.
So from the helicopter view to the more, I don't know, more close to the ground. So for me, I think, first of all, we really appreciate for MOD, they launched our national testing ground with the river. And it's amazing place then when you can test all your solutions. It doesn't matter you come from abroad or you are Ukrainian producers. But I think it's one of the start point. And this field situated in our west parts of the country, so it's more more safe, yes. And there are a lot of possibilities to work with any unexploded ordnance, any mines, any shells, explosives, etc. Drones, UGVs, UAVs. So whatever, what you want, we can test it. And the second one, it's one of the best ways come to Ukraine and work maybe with some companies which have the experience in international market, such as Ukobron Service, or we don't have a lot of them, but they clearly understand how to work with the international community. And how, you also have a really huge bureaucracy, and you should to work really good on all the papers if you want to sign the contract. And and then we combine it with the Ukrainian bureaucracy. It's it's a small disaster, but I hope that we can fix it easily. But it's one of the best way also work with our operators in our soil and in our land. And the third, for me, it's difficult sometimes to understand who is the big guy in the room, because the Minister of Economic, the Minister of Defense, and other ministries, all of them want to work in this domain because the humanitarian demining in Ukraine is the part of our national security. And that's why it's really important for Ukraine. And also one of the best ways choose the ministry, which one you want to work. But for me, it's also like MOD here. And I think it's one of the best people who really knows what is exactly the explosives, what exactly is the shells and ordnance, and work with them. And you have one of the best specialists here. And if you want to start, you're warmly welcome. Thanks.
Fabian had a big smile on his face when we got to making sure all your papers are in order and talking about bureaucracy. From your experience, Fabian, tell us what you've learned.
Now, let me just chip in two thoughts from the German perspective here. Both of them counterintuitive. The first one, I thought I would never say this, but I have to give a big shout out to our government agencies in this case. Both on the Ukraine MOD side. I don't know how many email exchanges I had with them on a Saturday evening between 9 p.m. and midnight, as well as to, for instance, the German Sonderstab, where I never thought possible that within 1 week you can get a funding decision for an equipment program. I thought 7 years is the minimum, and these guys totally keep surprising me on what is possible in this context. The second thought, unfortunately, is also a bit counterintuitive. I think on an industry level, it's us who are not getting our homework really done. And with that, I, for instance, mean us as European equipment providers and OEM and technology experts. If we take a couple of CCATs and we provide them, and then we take, some 40, 50 quadroines, and we maybe take some UMAC drones that we send around. What can we do in a week? We can probably clear 80 square kilometers of water, 100 if we really work hard. And then there's still 13,400 of them left. And I think it is our goddamn responsibility for all of that different mix of equipment and stuff that we are sending to Ukraine for usage, but also a bit for testing, and some of it because we're happy that we, got another technology placed and so on. It's our duty that we make all of that interact and work with each other, that the EvoLogics drones connect in the North.io networks, and the CCATs can work into it, and there's a CFOX who can disarm the mine, and the UMAC drone fits their situational awareness into the same picture and all of that. And that's not something that Ukraine should figure out for us while they are sitting somewhere at the front line and their people are targeted by FPV drones while they're working. It is our job here to sit down together and get our act and our heads around how do we make that work and happen, and when we send it to Ukraine, that there is really a mission flow that works together. And I think we have to do more coordination on an industry level from here.
Thank you very much. Are there any other questions from the floor? This is your opportunity, right? This is not you're not going to find a panel like this anywhere else that I can think of, okay? This is a pretty special opportunity. If you have a question, if you're curious, this is the time to approach the microphone and put your question to the panel. If there are no further questions, I would just ask each of our panelists if they have a thought to leave you with, to go ahead and share that now, because this is we're going to wrap this up just a couple of minutes early. I mean, I'm kind of out of questions myself, frankly. I mean, there are questions I could ask, but they may not be particularly germane to the topic that we're exploring right now. So, Yevhenii, is there a thought that you would like to leave our audience with?
First of all, I would like to say thank you to organizers for possibility to participate here. For me, it was interesting to see methodologies that use for clearance of Baltic Sea, to see new technologies Actually, some of them I met in Ukraine. It's very nice that technologies that we use in Ukraine popular here also in Europe. And of course, I hope that we gave information about Ukraine, that you understand our problem and that you understand that we are open for cooperation, and for us, important your support. And again, thank you for your attention. And if you will have any questions, you can ask me, not on a panel discussion. So, thank you.
I can imagine that there are questions in this room. I would be very surprised if there were not. They don't have to be asked in the public forum, but questions that you could perhaps approach our colleagues on bilaterally. Ihor, closing statement.
Yep. So I think that our strongest in our unity, and we are all the part of democracy, the part of freedom, and this is a huge value, and we should to defend it. And that's why I think that the main thing is our cooperation and the joint efforts. And we, like Ukrainians, we are really open for any type of cooperation. And I hope that you hear it and come to Ukraine, work with Ukrainian, share your experience, build some joint project. And I think that we will solve a lot of problems for both of us. Thanks a lot.
Fabian, final words.
I shouldn't have the closing words here. Yevhenii,
I'll throw some words out at the end, don't worry.
So, Yevhenii, Ihor, I hope your soldiers will stay safe, your employees will stay safe, your wives and children will stay safe. And we all feel the responsibility for that, and really, really keep our fingers crossed that this war ends hopefully quickly and also long-lasting afterwards. And rebuilding Ukraine, and which hopefully we can start eventually, will be a mission in its own, and also we will have a big job to do together. I think I can speak for everybody here in this room when I say we are all trying to do our bloody homework in order to support you as good as we can. These guys here, everybody who sits here is the experts in underwater mine clearing and UXO clearing. And we will work, I think, jointly as hard as we can to support you guys.
Thank you. I'll just, a couple of words to try to sum up what I've gotten from this super interesting panel discussion. I do a lot of panel discussions in different forums in different places around the world, but I've never done one quite like this. As I also do them with Ukrainian politicians, usually representatives of your government, but it's extremely rare to get the kinds of insights that have come out on this panel. This is a very valuable panel for me and for everyone in this room, that we could focus in so clearly on this particular aspect of a war that has larger dimensions, obviously. There's relevance there in lots of ways, but we've managed to contain this discussion within the block of how can we help Ukraine address the mine clearance, unexploded ordnance challenge that they're facing in a dimension that 4 years ago, people in this room could not have imagined. Things have changed a great deal, but also the opportunities to also learn from what's going on there. As Fabian said at the very beginning, Ukraine is a laboratory. It's a laboratory for learning. As horrible as war is, there is a learning opportunity there for everyone outside the country too, that there's a mutual learning opportunity there. I'm also very impressed by what I've heard about the about what Fabian said regarding the German government of like getting an approval on something within within just a week or two that would normally take 7 years or something. I mean, that's extraordinary. So we do see that there is movement in terms of bureaucracy to overcome the barriers to helping each other and learning from this. Thank you very much to our Ukrainian delegation, also to Fabian for his sharing his experience with plugging into Ukraine. And thank you all very much for being with us. We have another session coming up in just a couple of minutes. I think we'll just wait like a couple of minutes to digest what we've got here, and at 2:30 we will begin. I'm going to take a little bathroom break, but we'll be right back and get moving with the very next session. Thank you very much.